Retail inventories increased in April while sales surged. Apple shares fell for a fourth session in a row a day after the launch of its streaming music service. Lululemon Athletica shares are up after the yoga clothing maker raised its full-year forecast. The retailer also topped forecasters' estimates with a strong quarterly earnings report. Shares of Sage Therapeutics jumped after its experimental injectable drug was found to be effective in treating postpartum depression. McDonald's has hired former White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs as its chief communications officer. Campbell Soups is buying Salsa Meca Garden Fresh Gourmet for $231 million. Tanya Hansen, CNBC Radio.
Overturned truck blocking the carpool lane, freeway construction slowing everything down. I travel for work. News like that used to ruin my whole day until I discovered Citrix GoToMeeting. With GoToMeeting, I can meet from anywhere using my computer, tablet, or smartphone. And with HD video, I simply turn on my webcam and it's like being in the same room, which means I can stay productive no matter how bad the traffic gets.
Visit GoToMeeting.com and start our free 30-day trial. That's GoToMeeting.com.
Do you want to learn how to mask your identity to browse inappropriate websites and stream media while at the office?
Well, we can't help you with that. But among the many IT problems we solve, Barracuda's web security solutions keep online activity clean and ensure internet bandwidth performance. Reclaim your network, like 150,000 other businesses already have. To learn more about preventing web-based threats, visit barracuda.com/web.
Inland Empire weather. Still a chance of some on and off drizzle out there. Highs 91. We've already reached our high, I do believe. We're dropping back down. Currently, we are at 88 degrees. Overnight low, pretty warm, 71. Looking at your drive through Fontana, you've got stop and go traffic on the westbound 10 between Citrus and Cherry Avenue. And also in Corona, you've got slow traffic on the 91 eastbound between Auto Center Drive and 6th Street. And then there is road construction going on in Chino on the 60 westbound between Mountain Avenue and Ramona. You got the left lane closed right in that area. Actually, that should be opening up any moment right now. That is the latest with weather and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM. Stay tuned for the Poor Man Show. That's coming up next.
Market Wrap with Mo Ansari is your daily source for financial news and analysis. With over 30 years of trading experience, Mo shares his thoughts on the markets, answers your financial questions, and features guest experts from around the world covering a variety of investment topics. Visit marketwrapwithmo.com for more info about the show and listen to Market Wrap with Mo Ansari. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on KCAA 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Is your radio station dull and boring like most corporate-owned stations on the dial? Then it's time to tune to KCAA 1050 AM. It will blow your mind and maybe expand it too. KCAA is your independently owned go-to station in the Inland Empire. It's a veritable cornucopia of crazy, an assemblage of awesome and cool, and it's a little weird too. KCAA pumps out more local and national radio each week than most major networks while offering CNBC business news headlines during the week and NBC sports news on weekends. KCAA is unique, interesting, quirky, and sometimes outlandishly crazy, which adds up to a high volume of awesome. And for you audiophiles, KCAA delivers FM sound quality to our transmitter, which is why KCAA is the best-sounding AM station on the dial. So make your day with KCAA and find us online at kcaaradio.com. KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Last week in the UK Daily Mail, it was reported that Dr. Drew did cocaine. The night before, Dr. Drew admitted his cocaine use on his HLN TV show. But lies have come out of that. Doctor, give me the news. Here to report all the news is the Poor Man.
And welcome, folks, to a no-hold-bar Poor Man show. This is our first live show in like 3 days. And Today, I am going to start out by reaming about 15 people that I used to work with who are basically telling me that I'm a loser. I need to get over my problem with what's been happening with Dr. Drew and his cocaine use. This Daily Mail article came out last Thursday or last Friday, and ever since then, it's been a literal SH blank blank storm of all kinds of people. And if you don't know the story, basically I had a career in broadcasting like 30 years ago. This was before I had to go onto this station and beg for people to call in because there's nobody to call in. How many phone lines are ringing right now, Di?
Nothing. No.
Nothing, exactly. See, there's nobody listening. So back in the day when I was doing Loveline, and what happened was this guy who was my partner, his name is Dr. Drew. You all know him. He's got a show on HLN. He's got a show, 2 shows on radio, KBC. He's got one on all over the country, actually KBC's all over the country. I was squeezed out of my own show and pretty much have had no radio career since then. Luckily, Fred has put me on this station. And so trying and struggling to get my career back, dealing with my own inner fears, own inner inhibitions. So what happened is about a month ago, this guy who does campaigns for people that are, I guess, in the sleaze profession, so to speak, where they're doing different things involving different controversies that hit all kinds of periodicals like the Daily Mail where my story appeared. Somebody said, why don't you talk about Dr. Drew's cocaine use again? Now, I was thrown off Loveline in 1993, so we're talking 22 years ago, and Dr. Drew has always denied that he ever did cocaine, basically, for 22 years. So the Daily Mail was interested in barbecuing the guy and proving that, yes, he did a cocaine, which he did, a lot of. And if you know me, I've been talking about it forever. Everybody's told me to shut up, move on, all this other stuff. And so I weighed the options because I cannot move on. I'm at my parents' house right now broadcasting the show. They even want me to move on. But the thing is, it's not about the fact that this guy did cocaine, because a lot of people did coke. I used to do coke. The thing is, he could have admitted it 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and Dr. Drew would not have had any problems. Okay, he did cocaine. George W. Bush, our president, did cocaine before Obama. It's no big deal. So I've been getting just beaten to death by people saying, why are you bringing up Dr. Drew doing drugs? It's so tired. So what if he did drugs? And the article came out, it's got myself quoted, it's got Farley Malaris, it's got Joanna Ferguson, who was an intern. Farley was the astrologer on the show. And then it also has a unnamed 14-year-old girl who said she snorted coke with Dr. Drew in the control room. There are numerous other people. In fact, today I've got somebody calling in about 7 minutes who also revealed to me yesterday she snorted coke with Dr. Drew during Loveline. They went into a bathroom. They snorted about half a gram, and then he goes back on the air and starts giving love advice while he's coked up. That happened many times in the control room. So the point is, with all the ex-K-Rock jocks, poor man's got a vendetta. He needs to move on. He's troubled. He's got mental issues, all this stuff. He stalks my family. That's what Dr. Drew apparently says. All this garbage that leads to me not being able to get jobs on big-time radio stations, even though when I was fired, I was #1 in LA. You guys have heard this story a million times, but now it's an issue because it was in the Daily Mail, and there's other people that are going to be doing stories on this. So all these K-Rock jocks are coming forward, every guy that I've ever worked with, and they are trashing me. Nicole Alvarez, she's a current KROQ DJ. She put on my Facebook page, first of all, I had a post, it was like somebody had written a novel on my page, Richard Blade, just this holier than thou, pompous F-U, you know what I'm talking about. He's just an absolutely, thinks he is like God's gift to reason and morality. And how could you do this to Dr. Drew? He's helped so many people. So he wrote some huge thing on my page, which I left on there. And every jock I've ever worked with just said, I'm full of garbage. I'm screwed. I'm full of SH, whatever. And Nicole Alvarez starts saying, gives the definition of a stalker, that I'm a stalker. Now, I have never met her. So I posted today that I said, okay, you think I'm a stalker? I think you're a hoe. And who did you sleep with to get your gig at KROQ? And I put the definition of a hoe. So I just want to say, all these jocks, the reason you're even interested in this, all the ex-jocks, is because you guys are old and you have no careers anymore. So you're coming after me, a guy who's never done anything to you, without knowing the full story. This is not a story about a doctor who did cocaine 30 years ago. This is a story about my best friend who decided that when K-Rock suspended me, he said, if this goes longer than 2 weeks, this is after we did the show for 10 years together. He wasn't even on for the first year. He says, I will walk off the show and stand by you. I was in the guy's wedding. I introduced him to his wife. We were close. We were total best friends. Yes, we snorted coke, but we were great buddies. That was the deal. 2 weeks go by. This was in 1993, folks. Okay, I'm sorry it's so old school, but people are wanting to know about this. 2 weeks after that, he said, Jim, I can't walk off the show. K-Rock says he'll take my house if I leave the show. So I have to stay on. And excuse me, you can't leave a show. They're going to take you. How are they going to take your house if you walk off a show? How legally can anybody take your house? He made a decision, and this is something this is the real issue here. That's why it never goes away. Your best friend makes a decision to basically screw over your best friend, ruin his career. Basically, you lose your gig completely. Nobody else will hire you because they think you're what would the word be? Unstable. You're this, you're that, you're the next thing. And he stayed with the show ever since. Now he has a multi-million-dollar mansion. He's got two radio shows that are syndicated and a national show every night on HLN. So I'm going to name all these jocks. Even the dead jock, Scott Mason, is on there. The reason I did that guy kicked me out the door too. I don't care if he's dead. He was an a-hole, an absolute a-hole. Sorry about your memory, Scott. I'm not going to celebrate your memory. You screwed me over, and all these guys go along. Okay, it's Poor Man's show. He started the show a year before he ever discovered Dr. Drew while he was taking a shower at a mutual friend's house. Brought him on because we needed medical advice. Dr. Drew kicks Farley Malaris, an astrologer, off the show because that's competition. He kicks Lee Albert, a lawyer, off the show because that's competition. Eventually kicks me off the show. The beauty of Loveline was when people have love problems, they call their friends. The show was the friendly mix of FM DJs and celebrities giving advice. And then when somebody was wondering when they didn't have protection and they screwed 8 different people, then the doctor would come in and talk about the technical issues. That's what all Dr. Drew was supposed to do. So it's been rough for me. Every single day of my life, there isn't a day that goes by where I don't think about this. I can't get over it. The reason I can't get over it is because my best friend screwed me. He screwed me hard. He kicked me under the bus. He let me go over the falls. And by the way, I don't care. If you guys don't want to hear about this, I don't care. So here's who I say, go and F yourself. Stick it right up your butt, okay? Freddie Snakeskin. You used to sit in your control room and do all kinds of blow too, my friend. Ann Wilkins, Ann Fat-Ass Wilkins, the producer, who I got you your gig, and now she goes, oh, I never saw Dr. Drew do cocaine. Because you came 5 to 6 years after he started at KROQ. And that's why. Dusty Street, legendary DJ Dusty Street's been bagging on me. Dusty, I got a little news for you. You've never been that great of a DJ. Sorry, Dusty, you play music and you go, hi, honey. You aren't a great DJ. You never have been. You're just a big, fat, opinionated woman. And you're wrong about me. Mike Jacobs, the partner of the guy who discovered me, Rick Carroll, the greatest program director ever. You're knocking me. You're an a-hole too. Scott Hutchinson, my former intern, just go and stick it where the sun don't shine. Of course, I understand that's where you like it anyway. Nicole Alvarez calling me a stalker. You've never even met me before. That's why I call you a hoe. You call me a stalker, I call you a hoe. Jed, I have no beef with you. Doug Sluggo Roberts thinks this is great. Sluggo, you're in the same category as everybody else. Mike Evans, Hose, I can tell some stories about you. How about the fact you had the morning show at K-Rock and you're such a dumb idiot that you get on the air with you and Ramondo were doing the morning show and go, hey, I just want to tell Freddie Snakeskin to take this job and shove it, and I'll see you Monday morning at KLOS. So he leaves the morning show at K-Rock, goes to KLOS, and doesn't even last 6 months. You were stupid. You had a morning show that was really popular, and you walked out on K-Rock. And now you're criticizing me. You're nothing, dude. You're old and nothing. Larry Woodside, you were out of K-Rock in 1982. I don't know why you have a beef against me. And my good buddy Raymond Bannister, Ramondo. It's just all you guys just bagging on me. I don't care if the world bags on me. If you think I'm going to ever let go of a best friend screwing over his best friend, forget it. That's just, it ain't going to happen. I welcome calls, but we don't get calls here. This is 4 months into this show. Calls don't come in. I'll give the number, but it's not going to matter. 888-909-1050 is the number. That's why it's stupid to even talk about this, because nobody listens. 888-909-1050. Di, am I right or wrong? Are we getting any calls?
No, but you got 40 on Ustream today. So.
Well, but we're getting no calls in the Inland Empire.
Well, here comes something. Here comes something.
Okay. Well, I don't want just one. I want us to get all three of those lines blazing. Okay? That's what it's all about now. Screw the audience. Screw sitting here. I mean, I feel sorry for Fred Lundgren, the owner of this station. And by the way, that uncensored site about my show, you guys can all stick it up your butts too. Don't knock my sponsors. Quit spreading rumors about me that are untrue. And Todd, you're an idiot. You're an absolute a-hole. That's all I got to say. That uncensored site can go and just eat SH. That's all I got to say. All of those people on there. You knock my sponsors. It sounds like an infomercial on here. Do you know how hard it is to keep sponsors when you don't have? Do we have 3 lines ringing yet?
We have Video Dave on line 1.
Do we have 3 lines ringing?
We have 2 lines ringing.
Okay, well, we need to get 3. Let's see if we can actually get every line, 3 total lines. On a real radio show, we should be able to have lines anytime I open up the phone lines. It's not. Listen. My beef is not with being at this station. My beef is what was done to me, and I'll tell you what. This guy Drew Pinsky, he started it. He threw me under the bus, and I'll tell you what. I will do whatever I can to pay him back. This is payback, bro. It will never end. And I will say this, I just want to make it very clear. I will not do anything physically to harm him. I also never have stalked him, nor would I do that. What do I want? I want to see your ass get fired from all your gigs. That's what I want to see. I want to see you get fired from all 3 of your gigs and be out of work and not anybody hiring you, just so you can feel what it's like. So this will not end. I have no idea where it's going to go. Every single day I think about this, it's affected my entire life. And I'm glad that this guy approached me and said, do you want to talk about the cocaine use? Cocaine use is the sexy thing. That's the thing the media picks up on, is Drew lying about, he lied for years about his cocaine use. One other thing I want to say, and then we're going to go to the break here. And has Joni called in, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Three lines going. 3 lines going right now.
Okay. Well, we're going to try to reach Joni.
Okay.
Who is going to talk about, I guess, her drug experience with Dr. Drew. People are coming out of the woodwork. Anyway, I mean, I've said a lot. A lot is going through my head right now, but I needed to get this off my chest. And from now on this show, I don't care who I bash or where I bash. You screw with me, I'll just screw with you right back. That uncensored site, dude, you can go eat crap, okay? Don't you knock my sponsors, all right? You knock my sponsors, you start critiquing me, you're just a little baby who, you know, anytime you give you a criticism, you go out of your mind. And that's all I got to say. Okay, so the phone number is 888-909-1050. When we come back, hopefully we will have Joni on to talk. Later on, Farley Mallers is coming on. He's been getting bashed pretty heavily in the social media, too. If you haven't seen the Daily Mail article, you can go to Daily Mail, type in Dr. Drew and cocaine. But it's not about cocaine. It's about much more. It's about your best friend throwing you under the bus and screwing you over.
Have you ever wanted to bring the beauty of the ocean right into your home or office? Or already have an aquarium and just no time to clean it? Let Scuba Steve's Fish take care of that for you, specializing in new aquarium setups and maintenance. That's ScubaStevesFish.net, 714-600-2739. Check out the website at ScubaStevesFish.net. That's ScubaStevesFish.net. Get it? Fish.net? Serving Orange County and parts of the Inland Empire. There's nothing worse than a dirty aquarium. ScubaStevesFish.net. When I say Wave Tools, you think surfboards, right? But not just any surfboards. We're talking boards that just work better. Since Lance Collins polished off his first surfboard in 1969, Wave Tools has been cranking out the best boards money can buy for all of SoCal and beyond. Come check out what a real surf shop is all about. Real surfers hanging out any time of day at Wave Tools Surfboards. Customize that new board with a look that screams you. Wave Tools Surfboard in Costa Mesa. Go to WaveToolsSurf.com or call 949-631-0887. The crew is ready to assist you. 949-631-0887. Tired of spending too much money on an ad and then trying to find your ad in the newspaper, buried among hundreds, even thousands of other ads? Isn't it time you got a great deal when you were trying to sell that car, that dining room set, that refrigerator, or offering your handyman services? Now you can in the Nickel Shopper. For as little as $7.50 per week, your ad can be seen by thousands of eyeballs in the high desert, and they're getting the Nickel Shopper for free. Call today to place your ad in the Nickel Shopper, 760-646-3654, or go to thenickelshopper.com for all the details, 760-646-3654. The Nickel Shopper, coming soon to the IE. This may come as a surprise, but Beatles-orama is in its 15th year of keeping the Beatles alive for a new generation. If you spent any time in the 60s, or if you're smart enough to know it was the coolest era for music, you're going to love us. Just go to BeatlesOrama.com and the player should start right up. We're also available on TuneIn, iTunes, Windows Media, and more. Once you tune in, you'll be hooked. Plus, you can join our Facebook fan club and follow us on Twitter. Be sure to bookmark it. BeatlesOrama.com.
I wanna hold you tonight, baby, you and me. Angels run their fingers to your hair.
What's this music? What is that? Okay, I'm
That's
hearing
a question
myself.
for
I'm
Mr.
hearing
Matthews.
reverberation in my ears. What's going on here?
Yeah, that's a question for Pat Matthews. I'm not sure what the music is.
Yeah, that was really weird music. But now I'm hearing myself talking to myself. Do you know why that is?
I don't.
Okay, now it's gone away. Good.
Okay.
All right, so we can't get a hold of Joni, right?
No.
Oh, man. So maybe she had second thoughts about coming on and doing that. Okay, Farley we'll have on here in a minute, but I'll go to the phones right now. I've said a lot, and my thoughts are kind of confusing, but again, all these current and ex-K-Rock jocks can, you know what? I'm flipping you the finger right now. You guys can all just go eat. You know what? I could care less what any of you think. You're focusing on me exposing Dr. Drew's cocaine use from 30 years ago. Okay, how do you think he got Loveline in the first place? You stupid idiots. How do you think he got the show in the first place? He stole it from me, just like KROQ did. And all of you have been fired from K-Rock, and you're sitting there like defending a station that fired your ass. Richard Blade, you got fired. You were old and tired, and you sit there, oh, you know, I'm Richard Blade. I do old music shows. How great is that? You'll see me at the 80s bar. This Saturday, I'm spinning Culture Club, and I'm also spinning Duran Duran. Yes, it's me, Richard Blade. I am old, and I meet all kinds of old people at my old gigs. And I got fired by K-Rock, and I'm defending them. You're so stupid, you English idiot. You're stupid. You're dumb. Okay. And Nicole Alvarez, you should just go back and do your show and just have sex with whoever got you your gig. You sound like garbage. K-Rock is garbage now. If I went back on tomorrow, I'd be their #1 jock by Monday. It's no doubt about it. They need somebody like me on there to just go nuts on the air, which, believe me, I'm ready to do. Okay. Who do we have on there right now? Do you just want to throw somebody on?
We've
Put
got
on Ken from Sherman Oaks.
Okay, Ken.
Hey,
All right.
Poor Man.
Ken, how
Hey.
are you?
I'm wonderful. But first of all, Richard Blade is 63, so I just want to say that.
Right.
And his real name, I think, is Dick Shepard or Richard Shepard, I believe.
Yeah, Dick Shepard was his name
Yeah.
before he went to K-Rock and became Richard Blade.
He was on KNEC when KNEC was a new wave station before it was a heavy metal station.
You know, you know all the whole history of Loveline because you were listening to me, you know, and I don't know what's happened to your friend Todd, but he's an ass. He's an ass.
I don't want to talk about Todd. I just wanted to say to you, Poor Man, I want to congratulate you. I knew for years about the whole Dr. Drew Pinsky and cocaine thing. It was in one of those tabloid things. And the reason why Dr. Drew Pinsky never sued you is because you're telling the truth. When you're telling the truth, you really can't be sued. So, I mean,
That's
you're
right.
just saying you were there in the trenches, you know, and you saw everything. You know, you were there, you discovered him, and you're just telling the truth. I mean, you're just telling the absolute 100% capital T truth. And if people are mad about hearing the truth, there's an expression, the truth shall set you free. Dr. Drew was a fraud, and he wasn't even a doctor when he started on Loveline. He was a student at USC Medical School. He didn't even have his MD yet. And yeah, I was trying to do cocaine back then. He was just following the trend, and now he's acting like, oh, I'm all clean, and I'm anti-drugs, and I run Las Encinas, you know, treatment center. But, I mean, he is a fraud, you know? And he wouldn't
Ken,
be
let me
anything if it
tell you
wasn't for
something. The other day, he went on his show on HLN because the Daily Mail, when their article, did you read the Daily Mail article about the whole situation that came out last Friday?
I didn't read it, but I know Conway and Steckler talked about it for 30 minutes on KFI on Friday night. You can hear it on the podcast.
Are you serious, really?
Yeah, and in fact, you should contact Tim Conway Jr. I'm sure he'll have you as a guest. He spent 30 minutes
Good.
talking about you by name and the whole Dr. Deuce thing on Friday night when Steckler was on the show.
Good. I'd love to. I'd love to have him on my show, too. But
yeah, I mean, you can listen to the podcast for Conway's Friday night show. They talked about it for 20 to 30 minutes.
Here's the thing.
Your name.
Here's the thing, Ken. What happened was Thursday night, Ryan, the guy who wrote this article, and he took a month to write it because he had to find enough people that would come forward, including Farley, who is going to be on here in a couple of minutes. Farley was the key guy. He broke it open. He was so honest. But what happened was Ryan had to find enough people who would say, yes, I saw Dr. Drew do cocaine. And that's not easy to do, even though Dr. Drew did it with enough people to form your own Rose Parade.
Oh,
so
yeah,
many
half the whole staff.
Well, not just the staff.
Not the whole
list,
staff, but much of the staff. You know.
But lots of other people, too. Tons of people.
And also the guest stars saw it, too. You know, not even just the K-Rock employees,
right.
you know.
But here's
the rock
the
musicians that came in.
So here's what happened. So they asked for a statement from him on Thursday night that this article was coming out. So Dr. Drew decided to do damage control. And he went on his show the same night because he knew the article was going to come out the next day. And
HLN.
And it was going to barbecue him for sure. Finally get him. Let's see, I left in 93. So finally, 22 years later, he was going to get nailed for his cocaine use. It was 30 years ago, which only was an issue because he never admitted it. If he had admitted it, it wouldn't be an issue. So he gets on his show, Ken, on Thursday night, and he says, you know, I got to be honest with you. When I was 22 or 23 years old, I did coke, and he said coke really fast, pot and alcohol. I was a screwball. And so this guy who's his co-host, I guess, who's been in rehab, was interviewing him. So he said that, and he said when he was a med student. Okay. He was born in 1958.
Yeah.
And he came to K-Rock in 1983. So the guy would have been 25 years old when he first came to K-Rock. So here he was admitting his use, but I guess was he denying the whole story and all these people who had done it with him, because he started at K-Rock when he was 25, and believe me, he did.
Thing. Can I add something really quick?
But no, before let me finish what he. Hey, hold on. Let me finish what he said first.
Cocaine is bad, even back then. And his father, who did a show with your father,
right? Ken, let me finish what he said, okay, and then you can go ahead. So he lied about when he started, which was 25. Why? I don't know why. So what if you started when you did it 21 and 22 or 25? So here he is admitting it on his own show 4 days ago and still lying. He's lied every step of the way. Even when he first started, he said he was a doctor, he lied. So he's lying about when he started coke when he was 25. I saw him do it for 5 years, so he's almost 30. And then in addition to that, he was not only a med student, but he was actually doing it when he was a doctor. I know one guy who's a prominent Republican down in Orange County. Dr. Drew was treating his wound, and they were doing cocaine together.
You're talking about Dana Rohrabacher?
No, not the congressman. This is a guy you don't know. No, Dana, I don't think did coke. But anyway, go ahead and continue.
I just want to say, I mean, he's not only was he a medical student, even before you're an MD, you know it's bad. He did it, you said 5 years, that's 88, so he was 30. He already had his MD by then, and his father was a doctor. This is a guy, he went to a top liberal arts undergrad school. He knows how bad. I know cocaine was trendy in the 80s, but he was supposedly really intelligent, and he's not a typical, whatever. He should have known, even if all the DJs are doing coke, I'm a doctor, or I'm going to be a doctor, I'm not going to do coke, I'm not going to smoke pot. And instead he's saying drugs are wrong, but he did it for 5 years.
The point is, to me, the point is that not that he did cocaine. The point is that he always denied it. I mean, the President Bush said he did cocaine. What is this guy's problem? He's so insecure. And this is America's doctor. But more importantly than that, he effed over his best friend so he could keep a media gig. He
met his wife.
He so much had to be in the limelight that he had to throw his best friend over the falls, put him under the bus, ruin my life, and keep his career. And in addition to that, never, ever talk to me again. Ever.
He's a traitor. He's Dr. Traitor.
Yeah, and listen, 5 years ago...
He's worth $50 million because of you. If it wasn't for you, yes, he might have been a doctor, but he wouldn't be like a media celebrity. He'd be worth about $3 million instead of $50 million.
Right, know? So he's got his mansion in Pasadena. I have a little hut, barely able to pay my rent. He's on stations all over the country. I'm on a small little station here, KCAA in the Inland Empire. I'm not knocking it. I'm just giving you the facts and begging for calls. But more importantly, 5 years ago, I even went to his manager and said, look, why don't Drew and I talk and see if we can bury the hatchet? The guy wouldn't even talk to me. I did nothing. I gave him his entire career. I never asked for anything back. Not one thing back. And the guy won't even talk to me. And in addition to that, I don't know what more to say. He won't even talk. And when he does interviews, he pretends, he goes, yeah, the poor man, he kind of started the show with this other guy, the Swedish Eagle. Excuse me, I hosted it for 10 years, and you weren't even the co-host.
You and Scott Mason and then Lee Albert for a while. Yeah, you started the show.
Right, and hosted it for 10 years, and I'm like an afterthought. He even buries the fact I was ever on the show. I did nothing to this guy. I just gave him his career. I don't get it. Why, Ken? Why would this guy do that?
Dr. Drew cares about money and himself. He has narcissistic personality disorder. He wrote a book about it, but I think he has it himself. Narcissistic personality disorder.
I hope more people, because okay, this is just me talking. What is he doing to other people that he supposedly, all these people at Kcaa, he's helped so many people. He's not helping so many people.
Celebrity Rehab. That show killed so many people. Seven celebrities are dead from that show. I'm not saying he personally killed them, but they didn't help him, that's for sure.
All right. Hey, Ken, listen, I got to put Farley on. Let's take another break here. We're going to get Farley Malaris, who I absolutely owe so much to. He was the astrologer on K-Rock, did so many shows with me, and personally witnessed Dr. Drew doing cocaine like 20 times.
I remember him.
So he'll be on right after this. Thank you, Ken. We continue here on this show today.
Are you starting a business, have a business, but need to help ensure it's operating compliant with the law? Do you have business contracts with other parties that need to be reviewed to ensure they're protected and you avoid costly litigation? At the law offices of Michael W. Brown, we specialize in providing legal advice to businesses to ensure they succeed. Our firm can help you select the correct business structure, such as a corporation, LLC, or partnership. If your business needs a contract prepared or reviewed, we can help. The law offices of Michael W. Brown has over 20 years' experience providing practical and cost-effective legal advice to small, medium, and large businesses.
I'm Michael Brown, and my firm has helped our clients get their businesses off to the right start, grow, and be successful. We represent businesses of all sizes, large, medium, small, and even the individual. Our firm has experience in a variety of industries, including medical and healthcare, manufacturing, distribution, and telecommunications, and I know I can help your business as well.
Now you can have your own legal department for your business, ready when you are at a fraction of the cost. Initial consultations are always free. Call us at 949-636-8128 or visit us at mwb-law.net.
Too many men are wimps.
Linda Gross loves men. Bet that got your attention. Linda is a men's advocate who has helped many men get their balls back. And she can help you. Her proven coaching techniques will skyrocket your confidence and boost you into action in 4 sessions or less. Stop being stupid with girls, in business, or dump a lifelong problem. Go to themensadvocate.com or email Linda info@themensadvocate.com. Mention the Poor Man Show and get 15 minutes free. Also, pick up Linda's book, Mastering Women, on Amazon. Get the straight talk from the woman who knows. This may come as a surprise, but Beatles-orama is in its 15th year of keeping the Beatles alive for a new generation. If you spent any time in the 60s, or if you're smart enough to know it was the coolest era for music, you're going to love us. Just go to BeatlesOrama.com and the player should start right up. We're also available on TuneIn, iTunes, Windows Media, and more. Once you tune in, you'll be hooked. Plus, you can join our Facebook fan club and follow us on Twitter. Be sure to bookmark it. BeatlesOrama.com.
That's for you, Dr. Drew, the cocaine doctor. This is the Poor Man. We continue with the show. I'm hearing, turn off the music, please. Music off, thank you, because otherwise I keep hearing that echo. All right, Brett from Sacramento, we're going to throw him on, and then we're going to throw on Farley at the same time. Brett, are you there? Hello? Hello.
Let me get Brett back.
1050.
Brett is calling back, but I do have Farley on the line.
Farley, are you there?
Yeah, Jim, I'm here, man.
Okay, Farley, listen, first of all, Farley was the one who really made the article happen with the Daily Mail that finally brought Dr. Drew into a position of uncomfortability. Because I've been attacked in the last day by the former producer of Loveline, Ann. I call her Big Butt Ann. I always used to call her that, or Fat Ass Ann. And they must be feeling the heat from this article. But I wanted to just say, Farley Malaris, the #1 astrologer in the world, who did Astrology Open Line and Astrology Love Forecasts on my show for years, he came forward with information on Dr. Drew doing cocaine, and really we needed one more person. And Farley and I hadn't talked in years, so it wasn't like we were good buddies for a while, but he came forward, unlike everybody else I know, and talked honestly about Dr. Drew's cocaine use. And again, I point out, cocaine, saying, hey, you did cocaine, that's not the point of bringing back up this 30-year-old issue or 20-year-old issue. The issue is betrayal by your best friend, who happens to be America's doctor, a guy who's so ruthless that he'll do anything to keep his fat face in the media. And so, Farley, why don't you, first of all, tell everybody what you talked about in the article. What did Dr. Drew, when you saw him do coke, what did he do?
Well, we had a lot of groupies at the station. We had food groupies, we had sex groupies. The phones were ringing constantly for people to come down to the station to be invited. Then there were the drug groupies, and of course the cocaine groupies during the K-Rock Loveline show, which I did about 24 on. You always used me as a substitute. In 9 years, Jim, I see this as like raising a 9 or 10-year-old boy or a baby, and then you worked at K-Rock for free. People don't know that you started as an intern and you worked up to be drive time and one of the most popular disc jockeys on the station. By the way, I totally agree with what you said about the hateful, angry, negative emotions from the jocks. But the point is that not doing cocaine when I was at K-Rock the whole time, I never did it.
See him doing lines of coke?
Jesus is my witness. I never did it. But they passed that record album and that mirror around.
Farley, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, describe, how many times did you see him do coke? How many lines did he do?
I would say he never turned it down when it was passed to him. There was always 3 to 5 lines on the tray. I personally witnessed him doing 3 lines per pass. It was often passed at maybe 3 times around the circle per shift. So I'd say he'd do up to 9 or 10 lines, and every time he did a line, he gave us a chance to talk.
How many shows did you see him doing coke during
Every show I was on. Every single show I did with Dr. Drew as co-host, who stepped all over you and all over me on every call.
How many shows do you think that was?
About 24.
So you saw him do coke 24 different Loveline shows.
Yeah, and the problem I have, Jim, because my dad died from an Ativan injection when he was in the hospital with a stroke, and he went into a coma. And a problem I have with doctors is these doctors that take the Vicodin and the Coke, and they never admit sobriety or having a chip, and who knows, they have access to all the drugs in the world. Would you have a doctor operating or checking on you loaded on anything, alcohol, Vicodin, Coke? And the answer is no. I would.
Right, but, I want to get more to the specifics here. So you've been attacked by everybody who used to work at K-Rock. You've been attacked by lots of people. All you're doing is sharing your honesty about what you saw in the studio. There's no ulterior motive or anything, and yet people, all these ex-K-Rock jocks and current ones are beating you up like Dusty No Talent Street. Honestly, I don't think she's very talented. Never have. She's got a pompous ego.
Astrological, metaphysical psychologist on 3 late shows, 400 eyewitness news broadcasts, won an Emmy on the morning show with Ellen Levin, David Ono. And these people are so angry, bitter, and jealous, filled with hateful emotion, and they have absolutely no right to bash you, the most honest person I ever met. I actually wrote a book about karma and about the sin and the karma of lying. So I have zero tolerance for lying. People have told me I'm the most honest person they ever met. Okay?
But the point is, Farley, that all you did was just say what you saw. And these people are coming out after you like you're destroying America's doctor. He's the one who covered it up. And it's just amazing how he's somehow ingratiated himself, stolen my show, and suddenly he's the victim. Well, let's go to the phones. We got a VH1 producer and we have Brett from Sacramento. Let's put them both on with you, Farley. All right?
Okay, Brett is there.
Brett is there. Is the VH1 producer there too?
I believe so.
Hello, can you hear me?
Are you there, Brett?
Yeah, Brett, are you there? Brett from Sacramento's there. Are you there, Brett?
I'm here.
Okay, you're on with Farley Malaris, also the VH1 producer. What's your name?
Brad Kuhlman. I was executive producer of the different shows that he did on VH1. I'm not going to say that he did cocaine when he was with us. We had a falling out, though, because people died on the shows, and he tried to blame me as executive producer of the show, but I had nothing to do with these people. He was the one doing the care of the people. I wasn't. I was just taping the show.
Are you talking about Celebrity Rehab?
I'm not going to implicate him as a drug user, but I'll implicate him as somebody willing to point the buck at somebody else because he tried to blame me for the people that died when we did the show.
Yeah, Jim, I am totally fed up with all doctors, okay, that practice. They practice medicine. The reason why they say doctors practice medicine is because they don't know what they're doing. And you don't know if they're drunk or if they're alcoholic or if they're stoned or if they're coked or if they're on Vicodin. And millions of people have died from accidents by doctors in this country. And that's my point. They stole your 10-year-old child, and they want you to let it go. They want you to move on from you letting go of your child, Loveline, which was your baby. And I saw it. I was,
the one
whether I was on or not,
again,
Jim,
I worked with him, and he claimed to be a clinical psychologist. He wasn't, is what I'm hearing now. He wasn't licensed.
No, he's an internist. That's all. He's when he says he's an addictionologist, he's never got a degree in that. I would know. He was my best friend. He got a degree in internal medicine. That's the doctor he is. That's it.
And you're sure he never got any other degrees because
no, he never did. Hey, Brett from Sacramento, what did you want to say?
I have a quick comment. I believe you all along, Jim, that you found Dr. Drew and you developed him and developed the show. And in my book, I think it's crap that you have a best friend and you're together on a project and he leaves you behind. And I think all that's indisputable. I'm not talking about cocaine today. I just think it's wrong that you have a best friend, you do a project together, and he left you behind like that. In my book, you don't do that to the best friend. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it, too, is that what people need to understand is that bringing up the cocaine allegations, that's the sexy thing for the media. Like the VH1 producer, we probably would never have gotten the story in the Daily Mail, would we, if there hadn't been a cocaine? No,
that's just the way the media works. But like I said, I noticed that when we had the big falling out over the people dying on the show, there was some coverage of the people that died, but he pointed the buck at me and other people. I believe that we had 2 people die on the VH1 reality show with Jeff Conaway, and there was another person. But the other thing was that there's been plenty of patients that died under his care at Los Encinas Hospital, and it was pretty much blown over by the media. So the media pays attention to the drug allegations, but the deaths really flow right off him. He's responsible for the deaths of 4 to 5 people. Don't blame me, Dr. Drew. I was just the guy taping the show. You're the responsible one for giving them the care. If you weren't licensed, I would advocate Jeff Conaway's family and the other families to file suits again, because you pictured me, you pointed to me that you were a psychologist and you were licensed in this type of thing. So obviously you lied to me as well.
You know, this is a question I'm going to come back here. Di, do we still have open lines? That's why I hate being here on this show, because we can't still 16 weeks into it get 3 lines ringing.
Well, you've got Chris on the line too. Chris Brito's here also. Hey, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, good. So we have all the lines filled up. We should have all the lines filled up every day. From now on, we're going to do it. If I'm going to continue to do the show, we're not going to lose sponsors anymore either. That's it. And if you bash sponsors, I don't want to put you on the air. If you bash my sponsors, man, we're struggling to try to get a grip here, and that's the thing. So
if I could add something, Jim, it's Farley.
Yes.
You know, my problem is that you made me, okay? My Northridge Quake prediction on your show got me a gig on the Late Show. My Kobe Quake prediction on your show next day in Japan got me in the Late Show. I got my gig on Eyewitness News because of you. I'm grateful. You see, Drew left a wake of victims in his path, in his egotistical quest for power, including me, including the attorney, including you, and people are bashing us because the way...
Right.
Hey, don't forget about me. He got me fired from the show.
We're talking a snake here.
And he got the VH1 producer fired.
Probably an alcoholic. I don't know about that. I never saw him drink, but
well, I'll confirm he did
before.
drink. Again, I've never seen the cocaine, but he was a heavy drinker. I'll confirm that.
Yeah. Hey, Chris Brito, what did you want to add? And then we'll go to a break here since you're there. Is Chris there?
Chris, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Go ahead. Chris Brito's on here too.
Go ahead, Chris. Hey, you know, I just got something to say here, which just really pisses me off. I'm a drug and alcohol counselor. I've been doing this for a little over a year. There are so many counselors out there that look up to Dr. Drew, and this is the first time I've ever heard out of anybody's mouth that he is not a specialist in addiction studies.
He never got a degree in it.
I find it insulting.
No, it shocks me. Like I said, I worked on 4 shows with him.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
That this man walks around being paid millions of dollars when I'm lucky I clear 15, 20 grand a year, putting in 12, 14, 18-hour days sometimes, helping these people who need help. And yet this man walks around proclaiming that, listen to me, I'll help you with your... Most drug and alcohol counselors come from backgrounds who've had addiction problems. I've had my problems.
Okay, hey, you guys, Chris, it's really important.
Chris, don't forget, he has the blood of 4 people on his hands. I know of 2 deaths with the shows that we did.
You know, you guys, it's really important I throw this next person in.
4 people's deaths on his mind.
Hey, guys, hold on a sec. Sorry to interrupt everybody, but Joni Sorensen-Pignetti is on the line. She has stepped forward. Another person that did cocaine with Dr. Drew. Nobody's ever heard her story. Joni, are you there?
I'm here.
Huh?
How are you doing?
Joni, we can barely understand you.
Oh,
you know what? We may have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what. Why don't keep Farley and Joni? We'll come back to you after the break. I want to hear your story about when you did coke with Dr. Drew. That'll be right after this. Hang with us, Joni. It's all going down here.
You got it.
Leather doesn't have to be expensive. Not when it comes from Lucerne Lapidary and Leather in the Lucerne Valley. Who doesn't like leather? Get leather belts, wallets, gun belts, holsters, rifle scabbards, and original design handmade saddles. But that's not all. There's jewelry, custom design, custom cutting, shaping, engraving, polishing, repair, and more. Even classes in jewelry design. Come see it for yourself in the high desert. Lucerne Lapidary and Leather. 32776 Old Woman Spring Road in the Lucerne Valley. Call 760-885-7777. That's 760-885-7777.
Too many men are wimps.
Linda Gross loves men. Bet that got your attention. Linda is a men's advocate who has helped many men get their balls back. And she can help you. Her proven coaching techniques will skyrocket your confidence and boost you into action in 4 sessions or less. Stop being stupid with girls, in business, or dump a lifelong problem. Go to themensadvocate.com or email Linda info@themensadvocate.com. Mention the Poor Man Show and get 15 minutes free. Also, pick up Linda's book, Mastering Women, on Amazon. Get the straight talk from the woman who knows. Have you ever wanted to bring the beauty of the ocean right into your home or office? Or already have an aquarium and just no time to clean it? Let Scuba Steve's Fish take care of that for you, specializing in new aquarium setups and maintenance. That's ScubaStevesFish.net, 714-600-2739. Check out the website at ScubaStevesFish.net. That's ScubaStevesFish.net. Get it? Fish.net? Serving Orange County and parts of the Inland Empire. There's nothing worse than a dirty aquarium. ScubaStevesFish.net.
Talking on the radio today about this very thing, and I get accused of being perfect all the time, and that is no, I am not a perfect person, especially when I was younger. I was a screwball like everybody else. Right. I did drugs and alcohol when I was 22, 23 years old. And I think I went around denying it when my kids were younger. This is where the problem is. There's a very strict parenting rule I have, which is you do not tell anybody what you did during your adolescence, young adulthood, unless you want your kids to do the same.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we don't need the music. That's Dr. Drew. That was his admission. Thanks, Pat Matthews, for getting that for us. Is Joni more hearable now? Died, or
Joni?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now that's better. Okay, we got Joni. Okay. Joni Sorensen Fignetti. And Joni, you and I have been friends for a long time, and I really appreciate you having the courage, like Farley, to come forward and tell us about your cocaine experience with Dr. Drew. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
Well, it was during Love Lines. I used to go up to Love Lines with Jim, on Sunday nights between midnight and 3. And, I didn't do it all the time, but I did do it sporadically. And one time I was up there and Drew was there, and we went into this little bathroom and did a line each. But, it was so long ago. So I don't know if he's going to remember doing that.
How big was the line?
It was pretty big because we had a half a gram, of which we split in half, so we each got a quarter, and so then we each took our quarter and split it into an eighth of each up in each nose. That is quite a lot. But
So you were in the bathroom with Dr. Drew during a commercial break, and then did he go back and give more love advice, high on coke?
Well, he came back. I mean, I'm sure he went back and did it, but he always just did the technical parts. It was usually whoever was there that would do the love line. I answered the phones a lot of times for you guys when this was going on.
And why did you come forward to say that you did coke with Dr. Drew during Love Line? What?
The reason I'm saying this is because I feel like, and I felt like from the very beginning, that he ripped you off. That, this was your show, and you may have gotten fired from K-Rock, but when you got fired, he took over, but he just forgot where he got his start from. And he went on, and he did Love Lines, and he went on and did Celebrity Rehab, and, all those shows that he did, but he wouldn't have gotten any of these if he hadn't been for you. And never have I heard him say, I want to thank Jim for, helping me out here or giving me my start or anything. And I'm reading on your wall, everyone's dissing you, saying you're hashing up something from 23 years ago. But to me, it's not that you're hashing up something from 23 years ago. It's that you're just trying to say that I did this and I'm getting no credit for it.
But can I
add to that,
Jim?
Yeah, go ahead, Farley. Farley, meet Joni. Joni, meet Farley.
This is about sobriety and Anderson Cooper. I saw Drew on Anderson Cooper the other day with a bunch of friends, and he was starry-eyed. You see, my friends, like Shadow Stevens, actually, who invented K-Rock, was the first program director, is proud of his 35 years sobriety, and the fact that Drew admitted using, but he never admitted sobriety, and he looked high on Anderson Cooper out of his mind. I'm not going to say what he was on, but my problem is
It's the same thing. It was a very powerful property. It was Jim Trenton's idea. It was his baby. He developed it. He made it. You realize how hard it is to make an audience from midnight to 3 a.m. in the morning? People don't understand what it's like to do graveyard in what's called the dead zone. And Jim, you and our friends and all the love doctors and all the celebrities we had on created an icon. And you're right. He takes his best friend. He marries, I think, a K-Rock Bikini Beach girl, one of the many groupies. Or well, she wasn't a groupie, God bless her.
Well, I introduced them. She was the head K-Rock Bikini girl.
I know, but there. You know how many women approached us on that station? It was like a house of prostitution, for crying out loud, for free. and my problem here is that this guy will not come out and tell us, are you sober? Do you have a chip? Have you been sober for a year? For 20 years?
Well, you know, just
for 30
because
years?
he used
What's going on,
drugs
Drew?
does
Are you
not
still
mean that
high
he's
or
an
what?
addict. I was an addict. I was an alcoholic, and I was an addict, and I have 5 years. But I don't think that he got to the point where I was at. Like, I could not stop using drugs or alcohol, you know, and it took me a long time to get to that point. In my heart, I don't feel that he is an addict. I'm on here just stating that, you know, that Jim, it was Jim's baby, and he never got the credit where credit was due.
Hey, can you guys...
That's
Thank
what
you.
I think is really unfair. You know, he's now rich and famous, and he's moved on and done a lot of things with himself. But in the meantime, Jim is like, you know, living in a studio, and, you know, he's
Jim
scraping
is the
by
best,
on
and he's the
something
most
that
honest man
Drew
you'll ever
is
meet.
living high on the hog with.
Hey, you guys, hold on a minute. We'll be right back.
When I say Wave Tools, you think surfboards, right? But not just any surfboards. We're talking boards that just work better. Since Lance Collins polished off his first surfboard in 1969, Wave Tools has been cranking out the best boards money can buy for all of SoCal and beyond. Come check out what a real surf shop is all about. Real surfers hanging out any time of day at Wave Tools Surfboards. Customize that new board with a look that screams you. Wave Tools Surfboard in Costa Mesa. Go to wavetoolssurf.com or call 949-631-0887. The crew is ready to assist you. 949-631-0887. Are you starting a business, have a business, but need to help ensure it's operating compliant with the law? Do you have business contracts with other parties that need to be reviewed to ensure they're protected and you avoid costly litigation? At the law offices of Michael W. Brown, we specialize in providing legal advice to businesses to ensure they succeed. Our firm can help you select the correct business structure, such as a corporation, LLC, or partnership. If your business needs a contract prepared or reviewed, we can help. The law offices of Michael W. Brown has over 20 years' experience providing practical and cost-effective legal advice to small, medium, and large businesses.
I'm Michael Brown, and my firm has helped our clients get their businesses off to the right start, grow, and be successful. We represent businesses of all sizes, large, medium, small, and even the individual. Our firm has experience in a variety of industries, including medical and healthcare, manufacturing, distribution, and telecommunications. And I know I can help your business as well.
Now you can have your own legal department for your business, ready when you are at a fraction of the cost. Initial consultations are always free. Call us at 949-636-8128 or visit us at mwb-law.net. Tired of spending too much money on an ad and then trying to find your ad in the newspaper, buried among hundreds, even thousands of other ads? Isn't it time you got a great deal when you were trying to sell that car, that dining room set, that refrigerator, or offering your handyman services? Now you can in the Nickel Shopper. For as little as $7.50 per week, your ad can be seen by thousands of eyeballs in the high desert, and they're getting the Nickel Shopper for free. Call today to place your ad in the Nickel Shopper, 760-646-3654, or go to thenickelshopper.com for all the details, 760-646-3654. The Nickel Shopper, coming soon to the IE. Leather doesn't have to be expensive. Not when it comes from Lucerne Lapidary and Leather in the Lucerne Valley. Who doesn't like leather? Get leather belts, wallets, gun belts, holsters, rifle scabbards, and original design handmade saddles. But that's not all. There's jewelry, custom design, custom cutting, shaping, engraving, polishing, repair, and more. Even classes in jewelry design. Come see it for yourself in the high desert. Lucerne Lapidary and Leather, 32776 Old Woman Spring Road in the Lucerne Valley. Call 760-885-7777. That's 760-885-7777.
Back here, and we got less than a minute left, and Joni Sorensen Fignetti is here, and also Farley Malaris. Guys, I want to introduce you to Trevor. Trevor, are you there?
Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up right now.
Yeah, we got 45 seconds left in the show, and then I'm going to have everybody back on. So go ahead, Trevor. Tell your story about Dr. Drew's wife. Susan.
Okay, well,
The-
what's his wife's name?
Susan, but you got 30 seconds, so go, dude.
Okay. She says that Jim Poor Man Trent is a dangerous person. Stay away from him. Howard Lapidus, I got into a fight with him. He was his manager, or still is probably, on Matt Allen's Outlaw Radio, and kicked me off and said that you're not allowed to be on this show anymore because I'm associated with you.
That's what I face. Trevor, I wish we had more time. And Joni, thank you so much for coming on. You're the best.
Jim, you're the most honest man on radio and television. Freedom of the speech and freedom of press. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Farley. All right, you guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow again at 2 o'clock.
I'm Tanya Hansen, CNBC Radio. The Dow is up 7. The Nasdaq is down 5. Some solid economic data to share. Small business confidence hit a 5-month high in May. Job openings shot up to a record high in April with 5.4 million openings. And wholesale inventories increased in April while sales surged. Apple shares fell for a 4th session in a row a day after the launch of its streaming music service. Lululemon Athletica shares are up after the yoga clothing maker raised its full-year forecast. The retailer also topped forecasters'